Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, arguably the best place to get facts and opinions on your Atlanta Falcons. And absolutely the best place to get your opinions in. The guys are here, the chat is ready, and the conversation starts now.
What's going on, football fans? It's your boys back live again. We're basically 1 week from the draft. We are homing in on it. We are closing in on it. And I can't be more excited, more pumped to get this thing going. Obviously, that's the big topic or whatnot. I kind of just dove on in it. But as you see right now, we had a little bit of trouble going on. Jimmy dropped out. Hopefully, we'll get him back here in just a minute. But until then, I am joined, as always, by my guys, Mike Dub and Toby D. Gentlemen, what are going on, man?
What's up?
Hey, man. This, like I said, man, it's your boy Mike Dub this weekend. Like I said last week, if you blink twice, miss a couple free agents, we getting real close to the draft. I think every Falcons fan has had just about every type of emotion you can experience at this point about the draft, who we might go with, who we may not go with. I think every week we get closer to figuring this out, we'll be better as a fan base. So, of course, as this week, we got a lot to cover. And, man, we're just excited to talk to the people, as we always are. Toby D, you got, what you want to say to these people this week, man?
Mike, you know good and well we ain't going to be better as no fan base. Even if we do figure out who it is, because somebody's...
Oh, yeah. Somebody's feelings going to be hurt.
It's probably a good thing. Yeah, it's probably a good thing we don't know. But, hey, other than that, as y'all can see, I got my bucket hat on because I'm feeling camp mode already. Cause I feel good about the team. I don't know about anybody else, but despite what we do in this draft, I'm still going to be in Atlanta Falcons.
That's it. I mean, at the end of the day, this has probably been, one of the more divisive drafts that we've had in quite a long time. Honestly, being this high in the draft couldn't have come at a worse time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, if it was 2 years from now, done, right? Easy peasy. Take best quarterback, you move on, right? And we let Matt Ryan ride, see if he can do it. If he can't, thanks, buddy. Sayonara. Have a good day, right? But the position that you find yourself in now, you're sitting at 4 and you're staring down the barrel of, do you go ahead and plan for the future? Do you plan for the future of Matt Ryan not being here anymore, right? And that's a question that this new regime is going to have to answer. Like, you come in, like, cap situation was a mess, which they have done a fantastic job already. Right out the gate with managing the cap, with bringing in free agents. They're definitely not stars by any stretch of the imagination, but they are far more than just serviceable, in guys like Mike Davis, guys like Deron Harmon, guys like Cordell Patterson. Okay. These are, some of the moves that we wanted, like Dimitrov to make, but he didn't. Looks like we got Jimmy back. I don't know. Jimmy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear y'all. Had a power surge right before the show started.
It's always something, ain't it? Always something.
That's weird, man.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. Now I got to get you readjusted. See, what y'all don't get to see, and you're going to watch me do it live now, what y'all don't get to see is we do all this stuff beforehand, right? And so now y'all get to see it. That's the wrong one. Boom. Here it is. And
why couldn't happen like right before we
that's
saw?
all good.
Hey, it's all good. They get to see the behind the
Get a
scenes.
little bit of a sneak peek, realizing that, hey, we are just like they are in the sense of we are fans. We are fans first. That's what we have always said. We have never tried to pretend to be anything other than fans first. We have access to the same amount of information that y'all have access to, and we just try to give y'all our opinion. That's just what we do. So, anyway, Jimmy, we were getting into talking about where where the organization is right now, the job that the general manager has done thus far with the free agent signings, the handling of the cap space, bringing in guys who are far more than just serviceable, guys who can come in and be leaders, guys who can come in and really be locker room guys that set that tone. You know what I'm saying? And so, and it's really interesting, as these interviews are coming in with these new guys, a lot of them are saying the same thing. They're all excited to be here with Arthur Smith or be here with Dean Pease. Now, if this was a Cleveland Browns situation, I would say, well, back in the day, right? Or even the Jags. Yeah, you're excited to be there. They just forked out a butt ton of money for you. Because that's how they got everybody to come there, right? Overpaid the moon. We can't do that. So if you came here, you were wanting to be here. Like Deron Harmon said, he reached out to the Falcons, which I found that to be interesting, especially with Kenny Vaccaro still out on the market. That's the part that through this whole process that has kind of baffled me. Before we got into free agency, I had checked off half a dozen Tennessee guys who I figured we could get cheap.
Right.
Vaccaro being one of them. Adam Humphries being another one on the offensive side. But yet, the guys that we have signed, to my knowledge, don't have any prior experience. And that was, prior experience with this coaching staff. You got Copeland, who played under the linebackers coach. But when I say experience, I'm talking about experience with the coordinators. Whether it be Arthur Smith, head coach / basically the coordinator on the. Now, I guess you could say Cordell Patterson now. He was probably the first one because he played in Chicago with Ragno. So there's at least one, right? Okay, so but still, up to this point, you haven't had any on the defensive side of the ball. And that kind of makes me think about the quote from Dean Pease early on when he talked about he looked at this roster and saw a bunch of young guys who like to hit. And that's what kind of caught his eye about this roster. So that was, interesting in and of itself. But now, I said, they roll into free agency and they do what they have to do as far as restructuring guys and so on and so forth. And the guys that they bring in, they ain't paying nobody a ton. Everybody's on a 1-year deal because that's kind of what you have to do.
Right.
And, but the thing that struck me is that out of the big contracts that you possibly didn't want to restructure, you did restructure Matt Ryan's contract. And you didn't restructure Julio Jones's contract. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that brings the question, and we're going to get into this here in just a minute. I'm going to pass the proverbial mic down to y'all. Who are we really drafting a replacement for this year? Are we drafting a replacement for Matt Ryan, or are we drafting a replacement for Julio Jones? Because you didn't restructure Julio Jones' contract, and you can walk away from him at the end of this year for next to no dead cap. I mean, I'd have to pull up the SPO track on it, which I can do that here in just a second and give y'all the actual figure. But it was really interesting to me that they decided to restructure who they decided to restructure. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Hey, well, I mean, I'll tell you that I said that when I first came back to the show, that if I felt like anybody needs to have a replacement, it would be Julio Jones, because I don't think he's going to be here after this year. I think this year is a see if we can make a run for it. If we don't make a run, I wouldn't be surprised if trade talks aren't coming down the pipeline during the trade deadline for Julio Jones. I'm just saying, just like they did Mohamed Sanu when Thomas Dimitroff then was here, was able to snuff out a second-round pick for him with the New England Patriots. But, I mean, you really don't know at this point because I do have to give the Falcons credit because they've done a great job at throwing so many mixed drinks out there that's making your stomach sick right now. Because you still don't know what they're going to do. They could take a quarterback and they could take Kyle Pitts. We just don't know. But what we do know is Kyle Pitts up against everybody else in that top 5, including Panay Sewell.
Yeah, no, dead up. Like, no, he is straight up there. Like, best of I tell, I know it was earlier this week and it may have changed by now. But if you went to one of our followers tweeted at us saying, like, if you went to the Falcons page, the only draft player they had as far as their videos went was Kyle Pitts. You know, I mean, that might have changed by now, but at that point, that was it. You know, they're
right.
Go ahead.
And to be, you know, it's funny you bring this, so we might as well go ahead and dovetail, and I'll let old Jimbo Slice bring it home. But I think, you know, as I was confidently telling Toby before the show, I'll make a bold claim, and hey, you know me, at me, inbox me, get the live chat popping. If y'all can call me what you want, just don't call me no Saints fan like my boy Jimbo Dean said. But I'm gonna tell you like this: if Kyle Pitts is there at 4, Justin Fields is there at 4, Trey Lance is there at 4, I look at Kyle Pitts as the best defense that we could get in the top 5. Because I tell you why. Now you said he's an offensive player. Why did I say defense? Because we need a guy that can change the field. We need a guy that, honestly, every time the offense has the ball, they have a chance to score. And I'll be honest with you, what I've seen from Kyle Pitts, just body of work, I mean, watching him, just following him since he was in high school, the most complete player at any position in the draft that I think could come in and have an immediate impact at the levels of other guys. Like I said, I think, you know, you look at like what a Chase Young was able to do for the Redskins, right? You know, one of those, what I call a player that is, he makes a okay team at least good. See what I'm saying? Because before Chase Young was there, the Redskins were an okay team. He at least made them good. See, here's the thing. We're not here to say that, hey, we're going to be the greatest team. But to Toby's point, what I see as a good team, and give me a good player, best player available to make this team a good team. That's just me. I'm bold with it. I like Kyle Pitts. He's the guy that I like. And for those that don't know, you know, like I said, I think he's the closest thing since Shannon Sharp, first of all, that has come out of the draft. And the reason why I say that is this. Shannon Sharp is the only person that I've personally seen with my own 2 eyes play for a Division II school in Savannah, Georgia by the name of Savannah State University, if you've never heard of it. Now, where me and Big Jimbo Dean from, you know, we're from South Georgia, where, you know, by you know, city by the name of Albany, Georgia. Albany State University. So I saw him score 3 touchdowns against Albany State in the playoff for a team that lost against Albany State. Right. Meaning, this is the best player that I've seen with my own 2 eyes since then. Now, again, am I preaching early on Kyle Pitts? Yes, because I want to see his name at the number 4 pick. I don't want to see us trade back. And I'm just going to rest on that. Now, I've over-talked it, but Jimbo Dean, go ahead and give these people what they want.
Hey, good job. History, all that good stuff. Good job, Big Mike, South Georgia thing. But JR, it's kind of ironic. You wearing the Julio Jones jersey in the live show. Hey, nothing against him. Let's. I don't know if you got the Spo track pulled up yet.
I got the Spo track. Wasn't giving me the numbers I was really looking for, but I got the over the cap pulled up. And if next year,
start with this year for me if you can.
All right, so
JR, please.
As of right now, we haven't designated anybody a post June 1 cut, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No.
Okay, so if we post June 1 cut Julio Jones this year, if I'm looking at this right, okay, we would have a negative $2 million in the thing, and that's a far cry from anything else right at this moment.
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, right. Okay,
next year, real quick. You post June 1 cut.
Wow.
Julio Jones. Let's see if I can get this website. I'm not a big fan of over the cap, but you pick up like $17 million next year. Like you pick up, you see what I'm saying?
Right. So I kind of don't look at the same thing. I just wanted the fans to get it before I drop in on it. I'm finna drop in. I'm finna parachute in on it. Now this was set up this way. This wasn't just over. This been set up like this way. Now when Julio went back and did this little thing to get the money that he wanted, we went on and gave it to him. This is a easy, and please don't get it twisted. I don't want to move on from Julio Jones. That's my guy. That's a model Atlanta Falcon. But if you're gonna move on from anybody, I mean anybody else on this team, look at this from this year to next year. And JR just gave y'all the number. Now you want to go and replace Matt Ryan, but Julio is sitting back in the court in the cut, sipping on a margarita, just chilling, just looking, knowing that all the attention really should be right? Because these receivers are coming out of the draft right now and can Jordan Jefferson can come in and put up numbers
right out the
now, right? Yep. This is a business, guys. And being injured, it don't help.
Yeah, being old and injured.
Boy, that do not help the situation.
No, I mean,
but I say I love him, but we might need to start to focus over there on him. And
that's the deal.
Now.
You know, I'm not advocating to get rid of anybody.
Woo.
I hate that.
You know, I'm not advocating to get rid of nobody by any stretch of the imagination. I like all my guys, and I think given better coaching and better preparation, we can be in contention, in my opinion. Right. A lot of people don't share that opinion, and I get it. I understand that a lot of people don't share that opinion. But I think given, a better coaching situation and better preparation, and
one more thing to that, JR. One more thing to that. I think you nailed it in your intro when you talked about buy-in, because what I haven't seen is I didn't see the level of immediate buy-in with Dan Quinn that I see in Arthur Smith. I haven't seen guys that reached out to the team and said, hey, I could see myself in that jersey. It's been a while since we've seen Falcons that want to be Falcons outside of the money. Because a lot of these guys that wanted to be Falcons, we throw you a bag of money, you want to be a Falcon. Just like to your example about Jacksonville. You go to, I'm a Jag for life because they paying you $20 million a year to have a house on the Atlantic Ocean. That's great. I'll take that deal too. But I think to your point, though, players that I don't have a lot, I just want to prove what I got in a league where we banging. To have buy-in and a coach, I think it says almost as much about Dean Pease as it does Arthur Smith or anybody else. Arthur Smith is just the cherry on the top. But these players, and again, a lot of my guys that I've talked to who have played in the league, have played for this guy, they say that he's like the disappointment.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying be what takes us over the edge. But I think that sometimes when your dad teaches you, he ain't got to tell you but more than one time now, because we don't want to upset daddy too many times.
That's it. Anyway, no, you're right. You're right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this chat, and we're going to start out with Stu. Stu the Pepperhead done tipped us $20. And he said, if you come here and you wanted to be here, Cordell Patterson may be Hester 2.0, plus a trade back equals a wild card. Good to see the four kings of the ATL deck in effect again. One love.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
KP may be the new Gonzo. Kyle Pitts may be the new Gonzalez. Will not hate that pick. Yeah, no, right. I mean, if he turns out to be what he's supposed to be, then, of course not.
Right.
But let's go ahead and jump on in the full-on chat.
What they got? I know they on fire.
Yeah, ATM 34 says, fellas, it's like taking so long for the 29th to come. It is that. But we about a week away now. A week plus a day. Yeah. We 8 days away. We good to go, Deezy says, hello, my wife said, can y'all please sit under y'all's picks in the background? I could move everybody around and put everybody underneath their picks, but make you guess a little bit. That's funny. Stu the Pepperhead's earlier comment says, my pontificating pound for pound partners, professionally propagating positivity. That's what we try to do. I like that, Stu.
Boy, JR,
I know it. I shouldn't have never done that today.
It's rolling now.
Fred Butt says, I'm starting to think Pitts is a lock. I mean, that's the most smoke. Like, if we're looking at the fires right now, right? Yeah. If we're looking at the fires burning, like, the Pitts one's burning just a little bit brighter than the rest of them. But it's still real hard to distinguish. Dave says, for a team that didn't have any money, they seemingly did more with less. That's the part that has really impressed me, is what they've been able to do with what little they've had. Kojak Nantucket, what's up, Kojak? Glad to see you in here.
Kojak.
He says, what's up, P4P ATL family? Rise the F up. That's right, man. We glad you're here, brother. Now, Dave says Julio wasn't making enough money to restructure. He was making more money than Tyler Davison. and Tyler Davison restructured. Okay?
Ooh, don't do it. Don't do it to him, JR.
I'm just saying. They didn't even approach him from far as I know.
Right.
Let's see. But he says Kyle Pitts has questions too. I need to see him separate from NFL secondary. Well, it's also going to be a lot on how they scheme him. If you feel like Arthur Smith, the big focus is on Arthur Smith, like the way he likes to use tight ends, like that Kyle Pitts would be a dream come true. I have my reservations about that because the way he likes to use tight ends actually ends up being a lot more blocking than he does anything else. But, that is what that is. Marcus Johnson says, what's up?
I got something to say on that in a minute.
Marcus Johnson says, what's up, fellas? What's going on, Marcus? Glad you're here. Oh, Jaden Schaffler is able to join us. What's going on, Jaden?
What's up, Jaden?
Glad you are here. Ray Station said, sad to say, man, y'all might be right about Julio. I ain't trying to be right about Julio. All I'm saying is the fan base is foaming at the mouth to get Matt Ryan's replacement this year, even if he don't start. Well, you might be more akin to get Julio Jones's replacement in this offense this year. And that's kind of the point I was trying to make. Not that I want Julio Jones out of here. I don't. I love Jones, man. That's my dude. Hence I have a jersey. It's my dude, I don't spend money on names I don't like. You don't see me rocking around with a Vic Beasley jersey or Tarkaris McKinley or Ray. What was it? Ray Edwards? Was that?
Ooh. Man.
Anderson one like that. You might as well wear the other Jamal.
Right. The other Jamal Anderson, the one that came out of Arkansas.
Let's throw Dante Robinson.
Right. Exactly. See, I only buy jerseys of people that I like and people that I think have deserved it. Sports 790 says, I understand drafting Kyle Pitts, but when is the last time a tight end draft top 5 or top 10 made a huge splash his rookie year? That's the thing. But one second, I'm going to put this point out, and then I want you to get your point, and then we got to get to a real big tip that we just got. But everybody who makes that point about tight end coming in his rookie year not making an impact, okay, I get that. But these are the same folks who, and I'm not saying that you are. I'm just using your comment. So please, Sports 789, I don't think I'm thinking that you are. But these are some of the same people who then want to say advocate for drafting a quarterback and letting him sit for 2 years. Okay, so you would rather draft a quarterback and have that draft capital sit on the bench for 2 years. You're okay with that, but you're not okay with a potential another alien freak of nature coming in and replacing the freak of nature that we have now. You see what I'm saying? Like, he may not replace him this year, but he could be the long-term answer so that when Julio does decide to hang it up, it's not then a void in the offense. That's what I'm saying there. So let me read this. Kojak Nantucket just tipped us $50, and he says, for my favorite 4 horsemen, it's game/draft time. I need y'all to give me y'all's number 4 draft pick per horseman, or trade down. I need all y'all to be real. Hey, all right, we're gonna do this. All right, we're gonna start with Toby.
Let's do it,
and then we're gonna work our way down. Okay, so Toby, right now. Proverbial gun to your head, who's your number 4? You picking or you trading down?
I mean, you ain't even got to put a gun in my head. Kyle Pitts.
Mike?
All day.
So Kojak, I'm going to answer your question a little bit. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper on your question because I'm going to give you both scenarios because I'm ultra clear at number 4 with Kyle Pitts because I'm going to answer an earlier question and then I'm going to answer your question. So how often do you have a tight end even talked about in the top 10? First of all, that's kind of my first thing, right? And secondly, if you really want a more accurate depiction of how Kyle Pitts could be used, I think a good, you bored one night study is to study Vernon Davis's first year in the league. How he was utilized, how they utilize his 4.3, 4.4 speed. Now, true enough, you get older, you're not able to just run all the pretty routes, but you got to think about it. A Kyle Pitts at this point in his career, he can run a little bit more of the pivot right. He can pivot like any other tight end I've ever seen. I think his ability to change on a dime for me is where it's like this. And I'm going to answer your question like this, and I'm going to give you a trade back, and I'm going to throw it over to Jimbo. I'll tell you like this. If I'm Matt Ryan and, me and Off the Blank, we cool, like we cool. Like, me and Off the Blank, we cool now. And I'm talking to Off the Blank, we at the golf course. We on, the last, hole 18. We at the pretty part. We looking at the scenery, and I'm like, if I'm telling Off the Blank, you know what I want, man? You know what I want? I want another tight end. Now, true enough, I need a lineman now. I need to stay upright. But, you gave Gano a little bit of money. You know what I mean? You gave him a second round tender, which is insane. Right. So, I think what you're starting to do is say that, I'm comfortable enough. I can go to sleep if Gano protects me, right? But Kyle Pitts, I need him. I need him to extend my career. I need him to do kind of similar to what Drew Brees was able to do on the back end of his career, is have a go-to guy at the tight end position. And you got two of them. Because I think what makes this so lethal right now is outside of, just Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst, man, listen, we'll prognosticate. Let that happen. You got the next 2 weeks to hear me personally tell you what that looks like, right? But I will give you one quick. If we trade back, I've told the guys this because you want honesty right now. The only other guy worth trading back in the first round to me is not a defensive guy. It's still another offensive guy, and that's Rashawn Slater, tackle out of Northwestern. I love his game. I love the way he manhandled Chase Young 2 years ago, and I think that he'd be a smart player that will start every game in the NFL, and I think he'd be fantastic. Jimbo, what you got, baby?
Man, hey, and I'm finna keep it real with you, Kojak, and that's what you want. Nah? So, hey, ain't no beating around the bush. I'm going to go put Nate Sewell, but I'm finna just be real. I want Patrick Surtain. I want Patrick Surtain Jr. like no other. I'm a secondary guy, and hey, Kojak, you probably should have seen it coming. If I can get an AJ Terrell and a Patrick Surtain with a Dean Pease, oh man, you talking about a defense now. We talking about how you gonna attack the middle where our linebackers are strong at. So I'm just be real. If I'm staying at 4, and it's kind of too high to go for a cornerback, really. But if I'm gonna say defensive player of the year in the SEC, the junior college of the NFL, I'm going Patrick Surtain, man. But hey, look here, man. I'm really with Toby and Mike on that Kyle Pitts thing. But if I'm finna just be real and tell you how I feel about it, I want Patrick Surtain Jr. Either way,
I'm gonna round out this. I'm gonna round out the deal here, right?
Gotcha.
All right, you putting me on the spot. You had thing in my hand. What I'm making the decision on, I'm trading down, flat out. I'm taking an extra 2 this year. I'm taking an extra 1 next year and possibly the year after that. Right. If I'm Terry Fontenot, I know what's coming down the pipeline. I know that I ain't got much longer with Matt Ryan, okay? I don't want to sit a guy on the bench for 2 years. And every year, I'm going to go ahead and call it, every year, quarterbacks come out, okay? Every year. And so, like, I started just for craps and giggles, I started looking into quarterbacks the next few years. The kid coming out of UNC, Sam Howell, that dude, you talk about a live arm. Spencer Rattler. And before y'all come at me in the chat saying, oh, well, none of these guys any better than Trey Lance and Justin Fields, man, you don't know that. Flat out. At this junction, Trey Lance played 1 game this year. 1. Yeah. Justin Fields played 7 this year. You see what I'm saying? So, anyway, you put it on me, I'm trading back. I'm getting as much draft capital because I want flexibility. I want to be able to move and get who I want when I want them. Like, period, point blank. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. Now, if you ain't got no trade partner, I'm stuck at 4, then give me Pitts or give me Sewell. And I'll make my offense better. So, hopefully that was worth your very gracious tip there, Kojak. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Kojak.
And we looking forward to
that's right, exactly. Okay.
Great.
Now, let's see here. Dave says there's more foaming at the mouth for Pitts if we're being honest. And he also followed up with the QB position is different, and you know that, JR. Yeah, I know. You're right. The QB position is completely different. Mm-hmm. But there's also danger in just assuming that these guys coming out are the answer. Like, and that's something I did a video on it, like showing you the hit rate on first round quarterbacks. It's atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious. You know, that could have a lot to do with the fact that we're throwing QBs to the fire right away and not letting them sit. Maybe if we go back to letting them sit and marinating and understanding. But for all the people who, myself included, who say Trey Lance doesn't have enough experience, the only way you're going to get experience is playing on the field. You don't get that experience sitting on the bench. You know?
No.
So then Dave also said, and Dave hit us with a few, and that's why I'm trying to get him called up there. He says, being that everyone seems to hate on these QBs, what if Kyle Pitts is just good? Now, see, that's where you're missing there, Dave. I'm not hating on these QBs. I'm really not. If I was in Jacksonville's position, I'm running to the podium for Trevor Lawrence. If I'm in Denver's position, I'm doing everything I can to get up in the 4 to get one of these guys. Because if you don't have a QB, you got nothing. I'll straight tell you that right now. You know, if you don't have a consistent QB on your roster, you don't have a competent team. But that's the thing, folks. We have a good QB on this roster. And we can compete right away. I think he also said earlier, what do I mean by competing? Talking about Super Bowl, talking about whatever. Look, what was it years ago? Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. So, do we compete for a Super Bowl this year? The odds are great. Probably not this year. But you get some good young guys in and you start teaching them up next year, I really feel like we could. And that first round pick could help next year. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Jump
please
in
do.
for a minute.
I need a break for a second.
Because I get the sense of this narrative that's going out there. We don't believe in Matt Ryan. Take the quarterback now because we can just go ahead and tank because eventually the quarterback we want is going to end up being a starter and bring us back to the promised land. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't have no problem taking a quarterback. If it's Lance, if it's Fields, Mac Jones is there, I do not give a care right now. Do I want Pitts? Yes, I do. But I also said if Pitts is on another team, I'm going to be a fan. I'm watching. I might go get a jersey because I believe that's how good he's going to be. But what you're not going to get me to do, just because Matt Ryan might be the starter, I'm not going to tank a season or feel like, hey, we ain't going to worry about the season because Matt Ryan is playing. We just got our quarterback sitting in the wings waiting to start over Matt Ryan. No, player, I'm a Falcons fan for life. And I believe Falcons still will contend whether we draft a QB or whether we don't.
And I'm on that same train, Toby D, because, you know, we look at the way this team is constructed. And like I said it in the video. Cordero Patterson was kind of we're starting to see the strategy. You know, I would use the word matriculate, you know, because, you know, I look at like you said, a Kyle Pitts, all of these guys. I think what really boils down to me, and, you know, this is why I'm a little bit different than Jumbo Slice with Surtain from the standpoint is, man, let me tell you something. I'm not sure there's a player in the first round that'll fix our defense by itself or even make an impact worth that's nowhere. Now, you put Surtain out there with Terrell, I think you'll see him have a lot of good plays. He struggled just like any rookie. You know, it's hard to project these rookies, you know, what they will do. And I think this is a season where it is really, really going to go down into the coaching staff because this is a season variable. This is a COVID-induced offseason. So, again, there's a lot of fool's gold. Jimbo and I talked about Rousseau as fool's gold way back in October when they was like, wait a minute, y'all might game this year in the top 10. Blasphemy, right? So, again, we look at the variables, though. This is the season of variables. Jimbo, what you got?
Okay. I know about Patrick Surtain. That was off of emotion for you and Bubba Gump. You too, Mike. You with Bubba Gump. Talking about Patrick Surtain at 4 is stupid. You don't think I know that? Man? The man told me, Kojak told me to be real. I was just being real. Look here now. And Mike, you done threw it to the side too, low key. I seen what you were doing. I felt it. I know what you were doing now. But anyway, either way it goes, right? Like Toby said, guys, and we cannot lose focus on this. We are Atlanta Falcon fans.
Yes.
Please do not lose focus of that, man.
Yes, sir.
We just want
That's
this
it.
team
At
to
the end of the
win.
day.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Joe V tipped us $10 and said, "Nice job on that number 4 spot." So appreciate that, Joe V. You know,
hey,
I mean, we love.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, let me tell you something, man. These guys that I say that when it comes to a football opinion, I wish y'all could see when we're not on the show. That's when we really get at this because we might. But that's what makes this absolutely so great. Because let me tell you something. It's hard for me to argue with Jimbo Slaps. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I know he's a secondary guy. I've watched him play the secondary myself. So when he give me an assessment of a guy, I'm usually like, yeah, Jimbo said he's a secondary guy. We'll watch him, do his thing. But this year is a year where it's like, nah, man. It's like we're in the war room right now. So you know what? It almost feel like we're in the war room right now. Because like you said, Kojak put us in the war room right there. So if we're in the war, this is a good live stake at what the war room looks like before these guys get to the pick. Because man, if you imagine us talking like this, it's like imagine when it's 15 minutes.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Touch it. Like, no, Jimbo, no. Bring it back. Don't bring the car back.
Yeah, man, dude. Like I made that tweet the other day. It was on a comment on something that Lindsay Rhodes from the NFL Network had put out. It was on I think she was talking with Steve Weish, maybe. We'll see if I can pull that up real quick. But I made the statement that, man, I wouldn't want to be the guy having to make that call right now, because that dude, that's what it was. She was talking to Steve Weish about what the Falcons would do. And my statement was, so what makes the draft awesome? There's so many different ways it could play out. I'm glad I'm just a guy who talks about it, not the one that has to make the decision, because good Lord.
Yeah.
And then getting back in to the chat a little bit like we do. Tay Biggs says, and this right here, I'm about to read this statement that a lot of people think that I may not would normally read, but I want y'all to understand we are fans first, period, point blank, okay? Mm-hmm. He says, I'm saying right now for the record, I don't believe in Matt Ryan. His time has come and gone. 2016 was his last show, and he hits you with the 100%. And look, dude, you're totally within your rights to have that opinion. But keep in mind, since 2016, you had Steve Sarkisian, who was being forced to use somebody else's playbook, and you had 2 years of Dirk Cutter. Okay? I'm sorry. Them last 2 years with Cutter is absolutely unexcusable. If there's anything I would say that there's been unexcusable in the last few years, it was when they rehired Cutter. I don't know who made that decision. Oh. If it was McKay, then he needs to get smacked upside his head. But that man should have retired 2 years ago. And
And I'm sorry. Let's focus on that comment a second, because I think we should talk about Matt Ryan, how we feel. Because I'll be honest with you, I was on the train last year where after the Green Bay Packers game, I was ready for Matt Ryan to go. I'm honest. I was ready for him to go. I think he made a lot of bad decisions in that game, and he put us in some situations that, and true enough, we played against a good Packers team, but I always felt like my problem with Matt Ryan has been once we get to the games where the teams are at our level or better, we always end up on the losing side of that. And like I said, we're talking about elite, right? Because I'm going to tell you something. Elite is domination. And what I don't see out of Matt Ryan is a lot of domination. But one thing I will say, let me say it another way, and I use a military reference, as my battle rattle buddy likes to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Is that, yes, I've been disappointed in Matt Ryan in certain battles. But the war, that's who I'm going to war with. And right now, Matty Ice is enough for me. I've seen enough out of Matty Ice that this war, which is the 2021 season, this war, the way we are currently constructed as an army, as an infantry, as a brigade, whatever you want to call us, Matty Ice, as of today, gives us fundamentally the best chance to be on par with not Drew Brees, but his big brother, Tom Brady. We may not be able to beat Tom Brady, but you ask yourself, who does Tom Brady even respect? Now, true enough, he may not respect us enough to. He say, "I the Falcons in this division. I go to the Bucs and win a Super Bowl." That's what he does. He's a Super Bowl winner. But again, the looks at the most that he respect the most in the NFC South is Matty Ice, and I'm just saying, Matty Ice gives us the best chance to be on par. I'm not sure Trey Lance or Justin Fields, as of right now today, have enough to keep us on par with the Bucs. And by the way, we just got an extra game this year. We have 17 games now. So
right. So So Toby, you wanna come in on that, then pass it to me, then I can give it back to JR because I got something to say on that. You got something?
No, you go ahead.
Hey, okay. Thank you for that comment. Look here, guys. This year, 2021 coming up, it's not about Matt Ryan. It's not about a single player by themselves. It's about a team. You know who I think finna become the star in the face of this organization, and that's our head coach, Arthur Smith. It's not finna be solely one guy sticking out, and this is why we lose, and this is why we win. He finna turn that narrative around. Fontenot finna turn it around too, because he been at the Saints and he been looking at that narrative forever. It's not just about Matt Ryan, guys. It's scheme. It's team-wise. If you keep putting wins and losses on one person's shoulder, because everybody gonna have a bad game. I don't care what level of football you play. You're gonna have a bad game. If we keep putting losses and wins on one guy's shoulder, we ain't gonna get nowhere as a fan base. This is about to change. And I like the fact that they restructured him because they finna show y'all it ain't about Matt Ryan. It's really not. It's just for him just to control what Arthur Smith don't sit into that helmet for him to run. Arthur Smith is trying to change that narrative, and this guy might play another 5 years on Arthur Smith, and all that his completion's gonna go down, his yardage his attempt, all that's gonna go down. You know why that's gonna go down? Because we're gonna be running the ball, huh? What? He's not gonna get sacked 40 times a year. Why? We running the ball. It's not gonna be about Matt Ryan all the time on offense, which I kind of want it to be because that's not the way it's supposed to be as a team, man. That's not how it's supposed to go.
Kojak, Kojak tipped us another $10. Thank you, Kojak. He says on draft night, he put in parentheses tomorrow, but Kojak drafts next week. Just so you know, he said I'm gonna need y'all to pull no P for P punches. He said, duke it out like real brothers. I love when y'all have different opinions. That's what makes this channel so great. Believe you me, you will see no punches pulled. Like we don't we joke about what's in our private group chat, but for the most part, y'all get it real and uncut. Like there is no show prep. There is no we hit go and we start talking to y'all, Yeah.
We just happen to be on the same page.
A lot of times we are.
But we disagree too now.
The ice cream man says, hey, JR, Julio, Ridley, and Chase, JRC, rise up. Look, if they go that route, I guess I'd have to get another jersey. I'd have to buy two then.
Chase is, hey, listen, and we don't talk about this a lot because you brought Jamar Chase up. Listen, now if we want to, you talk about that Julio. Hey, JR, I'm be honest with you now. That's a nice little jersey you got on right there. But let me tell you something, boy. His little brother, Jamar Chase, he coming right now, too. So, look, if we unload some cap space and, we learned from your big brother, hey, I'm with that, too, baby. Because I don't lie. All people Julio Jones clones. But, boy, Jamar Chase is pretty dumb. Even would look real good in black and red. But
now, Brian Nelson brought up a point. And again, we say, I bring these comments up so y'all know that we ain't shying away from nothing. He says, so when it doesn't work out with Matt Ryan, what excuses are you guys going to have to make this time? It depends on what it looks like, Brian. No. It's like there's no getting fired up. Look.
No. I do. Yeah. I do. We don't make it. I use the word accountability. Right. Like, let me tell you something. We are accountable Falcons fans. We call it like we said. If Matt Ryan needs to get off the pot, we're going to talk about a show. We're going to have Matt Ryan getting off the pot as a thumbnail that JR will craft up eloquently.
Look, but again, we had a thumbnail earlier this year talking about ice melting. So
right, we did.
What you got, baby? I'm sorry. I don't want to get.
I'm gonna say this right now. So if a new QB get in there, what excuse you gonna have when he sucks?
I mean,
if you gonna direct that same question to me, I'm gonna redirect it back at you. It ain't gonna matter who gonna be in there. They both got to get the scheme at the end of the day, Doc. It don't even matter who in there. All right. First of all, I'm only gonna tell you, Matt Ryan, I'm still gonna say this, gives us the best chance to win right now. Even Arthur Smith ain't that dumb to know something like that. Even if he takes another QB that's gonna sit up under Matt Ryan, who y'all want gone, but y'all want this man to teach the next guy that's coming behind him. Man, get y'all behinds up out of here. You just better be lucky that Matt Ryan is just that type of guy that's willing to do that type of thing and take somebody on his wing. But does that mean he letting him come out to his job? Head to the no. So for you to even sit there and be thinking, for any fans that do, thinking that, yeah, we don't got the new QB now. He gonna take Matt Ryan's job in the camp. Matt Ryan ain't even gonna be starting. You is out your foolish mind. And I'm just being real.
And that's why that boy over there at Green Bay is still sitting on the bench, and they finna find out something to do with him as of coming for this offseason. They gonna find out something to do with him, because I can see Matt Ryan taking that crap personally and making sure he stay on the bench. Come on now.
And think about this. For all this hype we talking about, we had a quarterback at 4. Let me tell you something. Y'all remember how y'all wanted to interview some fans, them Oakland Raiders fans, not Las Vegas Raiders fans, when they drafted Jamarcus Russell. Man, we got Jamarcus Russell out of LSU, boy. Woo, big guy, 6'2", 250. Man, he about to kill it. And then, like I said, man, stop overhyping these guys. Let these guys prove it.
Look.
They're the guy that said, what you going to do with Matt Ryan? We don't hypothesize. I almost got scientific on you now. We don't hypothesize on what Matt Ryan can't do. Because let me tell you about this show. This is an is show. This is not an isn't show. We focus on the is. JR, talk to these people. What else?
At the end of the day, as we have been saying this whole draft, process, everything else, you definitely allowed to have your opinion, on what you want. That's like, but that's why we got the tagline, best place to get your opinion heard. That's what we are trying to do here. Speaking of some of the things we are trying to do, Glory Hands with keen eyes noticed the new draft hat. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Being that, live in Atlanta, I'm able to, pop down to the store, down to the team store and pick one up. Cause I'm a nerd like that, but to go ahead and announce it on draft night, we will be giving away a draft hat just like this one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So make sure y'all are tuning in draft night, but for your chance to win a draft hat. Now, the way that y'all going to have a chance to win this draft hat, and we're going to put it out as the week goes on. So if you don't necessarily catch it right now, this ain't going to be the only time, but you're going to have to email Pound for Pound, and that's, the Pound, Pound, the number 4, Pound, Pound, ATL, @gmail.com. And you're going to have to give me my catchphrase and Jimmy's catchphrase. Okay? And you're going to have to give me the correct pick at 4 or whatever we do. Okay? Whatever we do in the first round, that's what you're going to have to give me. If we trade back and pick Surtain or whatever, you're going to have to give me the correct pick and my catchphrase and Jimmy's catchphrase emailed to poundforpoundatl @gmail.com. The first person who emails me with that will win a nice draft hat. So that's going to be one of 2 giveaways because we're going to be streaming both nights. The first night we're going to give away a draft hat, the Atlanta Falcons draft hat. The second night we're going to give away a Pound for Pound hat. Okay? So, and I'll give y'all away to how that's going to work out. Oh, T-Big says, damn, all that for a $35 hat. Well, you ain't got to do it, T-Biggs. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. No, I'm just trying to have fun with it.
Right. You're going to have fun now.
I'm just trying to have fun. If you don't want it, you don't have to worry about it. I didn't think it was that big a deal.
Hey,
we're going to put it out on Twitter,
yeah.
So that y'all can see it. So that all you got to do is copy links and stuff like that. It ain't, like I said, not that big a deal. Now, I will say this. Don't email me if you're not willing to give me an address to ship this to. Okay? A lot of people are private with information, So I'm going to need to ship it to you. So if you're unwilling to give me an address to send it to, then maybe don't enter. But needless to say, we'll talk about that more, like I said, on Twitter and on draft night that night. We'll be giving away a draft hat. So that should be a lot of fun. Again, just trying to give back to y'all because y'all give us so much in interactions and just every week. And then as we did last year when we got close to I think it was 3,000 subs, Toby. We gave away a gift card so that somebody could buy a jersey, and we're getting close to 4,000 subs, and we're going to do the same thing with that. So once we hit 4,000 subs, we're going to give away another gift card. That y'all can get the jersey of the new draft pick, the new quarterback we pick. Right. That way you can get your Justin Fields or Trey Lance jersey on us and can rub it in our faces.
I want to give a quick shout out to Maurice May. Happy 51st birthday, man. He said, thanks, Pound for Pound.
Hey, happy birthday.
Delicious and scrumptious, enjoyable content.
We are glad that you decided to join us. That is awesome that you decided to be here. It's awesome that everybody's decided to be here. I know we got a little bit more fired up today than we normally do. We try to keep it we tend to try to keep it positive and lighthearted, but like I said at the top of this, draft or the draft, listen to me. At the top of this show, this is probably the most decisive draft we've had since since the 2008 draft. Since we took Matt Ryan. Mm-hmm. Quarterbacks are inherently controversial. You add far too many wins and far too many losses are hung around the neck of a quarterback. Football is a team sport all the way around. Mike and Jimmy, y'all know that better than most people. If your guys on the O-line ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or your D-line or your linebackers or whatever, like if your guys ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you're making it harder on everybody else.
And I think that's why, to be honest with you, that's why I'm the hardest against a tank. Like, listen, man, if I'm tanking and trying to I'm out there playing, we talking about football. We talking about collisions. You to make it the next season to be able to, play around. Football's not a game you play around in. I know other sports, they all, somebody's throwing the game. I don't see how you could throw a game. Guys running at you angry. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ultimately, what's best for this nation is let's win now. So that's why I said, tanking in the NFL, what does that really look? And don't get me wrong. I know you talk about the Jaguars when they horrible, but it's like they played, they were competitive. I mean, they lost, but it's like, no, you're not about to go out there and just kind of guard this guy, kind of not. Because, listen, man, you tear your ACL one time, all that kind of stuff, man. Like, listen, man, football's not a game to play around that, man.
Hey, look, it is hard to tank in the NFL. You know why? Incentives is on. It's a certain thing in your contract called an incentive, right? That's a lot of money for you to go out there and throw a game and try to get. And plus, you don't want to tank and get a better draft pick to bring in somebody that might take your position. Where you do that at? But after this comment, I wanted to ask Toby this now, because Toby said he gonna get a Pitts jersey. Now Pitts come to us at 4. Toby, you probably already announced it. You gonna get that jersey, ain't you?
Nah, first one, my man said. First one in line.
Y'all on the first one in line. I don't care what number he got on. He may not. Hey, Patterson might be brave enough to wear the number 84. It might not be suggestible. But one of them guys is probably going to wear 84 if they on the team. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, Toby D, I'm going to say it right now. Now, you know what? Pitts, come on. He going to wear 88, period.
At me. Listen at you.
He can wear
Listen at you.
Good.
All right, look, now, Ghost Pepper said he done put out a couple responses that we ain't been able to get to. So I want to make sure we get to this one. So what's up, Ghost Pepper? Arthur Smith took the job because he knows that he can successfully scheme with the same guys Dirk Cutter didn't seem to trust to use in specific skills. I mean, that's what we're betting on, right? I mean, you saw what he was able to do in Tennessee. He was able to take the roster that he had and make it perform to the way that it needed to perform. Okay? Yeah. Like, you saw what he did with Tannehill. That's a perfect example. He took what Tannehill was good at, rollouts, throwing on the run, play action pass, all this stuff, and he maximized it. All right? He took what the roster was built for, running, and he stuck with it. So, what I am betting on, and as we've said before, we are not unbiased people. We try to let y'all know what our bias is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards the fact that Arthur Smith can come in, see what he has, and make something work with what he has. That's what I'm betting on. That's what initially drew my eye to Tennessee with Smith. Same deal that I wasn't necessarily all that jacked when Pease was hired, but that's because I didn't know a ton about Pease. The more I started digging into Pease and where he has been and who he has been successful with, do y'all know that man got Paul Kruger paid? Paul Kruger paid.
Some people don't know what you're talking
this
about.
dude was about useless outside of Baltimore.
Right.
Okay?
Come on.
He had
point.
Courtney Upshaw, who we played as a defensive tackle, standing up as an outside linebacker. And y'all being a consistent player. You don't think he can't mold somebody like a Marlon Davidson? People are already calling him a bust, which is hilarious that we call any rookie a bust on a rookie contract. You don't know what you got for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So to call anybody a bust who's on their rookie contract has always been baffling to me. So, I am betting on, after doing my initial digging and doing my research on Dean Pease and on doing even more research on Arthur Smith, I am betting on their ability to take this roster and make it perform at a higher, more consistent level.
And I bet on that too.
And I think I agree too, because I think I look at the word scale, man. That's the first word that jumps in my head. Scale, because I'm gonna ask Toby D a question. Let me ask you a question, Toby D. Since the Music City Miracle with Steve Wycheck through that miracle pass, when the last time we really thought about the Tennessee Titans as a formidable football team? Since then,
it's been a while since Steve was there. I think.
Right now, I use the word scale. Ryan Tannehill. You know what I'm saying? What did we fundamentally see as we afterthought? You know what I mean? Listen, Arthur Smith got this guy paid by the work that he puts. Here's what I like about Arthur Smith is that Arthur Smith is an end game guy. And to your point, that's his situational awareness is far beyond Dan Quinn. Honestly, it's far beyond Dirk Cutter. So it's almost like we got one of them 2-for-1 deals. We got a coach that understands situational awareness, meaning he knows and he will do whatever it takes to adjust. Our inability to adjust has been a huge reason over the last 3 years that we've lost a lot of games by 7 points or less. I think what Arthur Smith's best strength is right now is he may get us over the hump from the 7 points or less. And if we got a coach that can get us over the hump from the 7 points or less, to me, at a minimum, I'm not going Super Bowl, a lot of other stuff. That's a playoff team, and I'll stop there.
But see, when we go live, guys, us four, the four horsemen, right? We address the people with our mind frame already knowing, all the digging and researching we done did. So we kind of speak on what we kind of got facts off. We don't went through facts, right? So to think this thing is going to happen overnight or within 1 year, we not speaking like that now, y'all. So don't try to put us in that position to say, oh, y'all think we're going to the Super Bowl the first year, or we gonna go to playoff. We not. We saying what we believe at the time off the facts that we already done looked at.
Objective.
Just because we lie right now don't mean we don't do work outside of the show in our group chat and all that. And to be honest now, first year GM, first year head coach, it's a great period. It's just not finna happen just like that, guys. It's not. We're not speaking like that either. But we got hope as Atlanta Falcon fan that it will. And that's the way you got to be as a fan. That's how we go about our day-to-day business over here at Pound ATL, just to be honest now.
And to add on to that, put in the comments. If you don't have hope in this team, why do you support this team? Put it in the comments. Don't even tell us. Put it in the comments. If you don't believe in this team, hey, why you bleeding black and red? Because let me tell you something. If you've been with us through the losses, well, a lot of games we went in and we expected to lose. We watched the whole game. Why is it again? Well, hey, it's a chance. We might have a chance. There's a chance. All we saying is there's a chance. But let me tell you, the first snap, we're going to speak about that chance because there is. And if it wasn't, I'd be like, man, Jimbo, we already started drinking before the show. We come down like this.
I'm done.
But,
no,
anyway,
I will say this. We talking about all this, what we believe the team can do, but we forgetting about one big thing that the Falcons revamped totally. And that's strength and conditioning. They went and revamped that whole staff and just added the final piece for the director of sports medicine, Jake Farrell from Florida State. They just added him on there with the other guys. Guys, part of our issue that we have had, especially on the defensive side of the ball, since that Super Bowl, we have forever been getting gassed. And one of the things that y'all didn't get to hear probably with Thomas Stallworth, the head strength and conditioning coach, said, is that you might be athletically able to match up with these teams, but if you don't have that strength and conditioning down and those teams that do and those astute teams that do, they're going to come back and put you to bed because they are more physically strengthened than you are. And that's why they'll wait you out when you get up 17, 20 points because you don't ran out of gas and they just get started.
No, that's true.
Yes.
So that's a huge thing that had to be rectified. I know a lot of people were saying on Twitter, they let go of Marty Lawson. They're going to have to find somebody to fill them shoes. But obviously they saw something there. And you got 3 guys with Achilles injuries, your safeties, guys. 3 guys.
Right.
Suffer the same injury. It is time to make a change at that spot.
No question.
No question. Like, look, at the end of the day, we all fans and we all think we know how to fix it, right? But I mean, look.
Yeah, hey, look. It's a war room, man. And you know what? Ultimately, whatever decision we make when we go in the war is a decision that we're going to support. Because no matter who is that has a Falcons jersey, we're going to give him a great spirit. Well, we are going to love him, whoever it is. If it's Sertain, if it's Rashawn Slater, if it's Penei Sewell, if it's Trey Lance, we still going to love him. We still going to, hey, if we see him, if your kid is there, you still going to try to get an autograph for him. So you might as well love whoever they pick because that's a guy that, listen, Terry F., and the F stands for fiscal, that's a guy that he willing to invest in. And if Terry Fiscal willing to invest in him, then I'm willing to invest in him. And hey, that's all I got.
No, at the end of the day, like, we all fans, we all have access to the same information. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a direct line to Terry Fontenot's office, but neither does anybody else, right? And
not yet.
Not yet. You working on something, Toby? You got something for me?
You never know what might happen now. Direct line.
But all I'm getting at is that what we all do have in common is that we are all passionate about this team. And that's the reason why we're here. And that's the reason why y'all are here. That's the reason why y'all are in this chat. That's the reason why y'all are chirping at us and we're chirping back. It's because we all want this team to win. We all want this team to be relevant. And we all want this team to be successful. We all have different opinions on how to get there. And that's fine. Right? At the end of the day, you know, we just need to be respectful to each other. You know, as fans. That's the bigger thing. Is I'm not a huge fan of some of the stuff that I have been seeing, you know, people name calling other fans and stuff like that. Like, we ain't got time for all that. Like, we all grown. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's high school stuff. I ain't been in high school in a long time. You know, so I'm good on all that, you know. But yeah, y'all, man, by all means, y'all come in here with your different opinions. I love to see it. You know.
We will.
Hey, I got
What's
one
up,
quick one. That Eric McDowell Jr. Pease is going to make Matt Ryan
there you go.
happy. Oh man, what you talking about? You talking about a team? I like that comment because some people cannot correlate the two. They don't know that the offense helps the defense and the defense helps the offense. And ball control, time control is a major part when it comes to playing this game and finishing the game. Right. Finishing the game is almost as important. Ain't no almost. It's way more important than how you start the game. Now I don't know if y'all ever heard it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And we was one of the worst teams in finishing a game in the last 3 since the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna say last 3.
Yeah, since 2016.
The Super Bowl.
We look, since 2016 we have become a meme. We have become a joke. And that's the first thing that has to change. And that was something that Arthur Smith has brought up on multiple occasions, talking about changing the mindset of like noticing, like he even said something about noticing the guys looking over their shoulder in the fourth quarter at the scoreboard. Right. Like, it is a culture set, is a mindset that Dan Quinn could never shake, like, as far as his team was concerned after the Super Bowl. Like, couldn't do it.
Right.
So, you know, that's like, if you want to get real clear here, that is project number 1 for Arthur Smith. He is changing that mindset of we are going to be a team that finishes.
And I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it now. Dan Quinn coming from, and I go back to Dan Quinn when he first came in from the Seahawks. Dan Quinn coming in from the Seahawks, he did not get a chance to see the Falcons twice a year, every year. Terry F. is uber familiar. I'll tell you something. Terry Fontenot is so familiar with beat. He said that, let me just go help these guys because I've been killing them for years, literally. So literally, tell you something. It's important when you have when your enemy joins the fold to an extent, because let me tell you something. That debriefing period, and let's talk about that debriefing period. That debriefing period is value enough to a franchise that it can take it from here to here. Because I'm gonna tell you something. He got Marcus Davenport to wreak havoc on Matt Ryan. He got Cameron Jordan to wreak havoc on Matt Ryan. Guess what they've done? Wreak havoc on Matt Ryan since they've been drafted. Right. That is because ultimately, you look at it like this. We got Vic Beasley to stop Cam Newton. How did that work out? Horrible. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, areas where we have to hit. So honestly, we probably don't realize just how good we are in a position to have a Terry Fontenot, because him being a former scout, because again, we had talked about it a lot on this show, but we've been talking about it privately. This defensive line class, this edge class, it's a little bit weak. So this is a year, man, where I'm telling you, like, man, any bit of knowledge or intel that we have to give us an advance in a COVID-stricken year, we really need to lock in on what we got right now. So it's just about as we, eat this sandwich as we get into the season and we start digesting our team.
Tony Wright actually finally brought up the point that I made the thumbnail about that we haven't actually gotten into. Tony Wright says, but he also stated that our team owner, Arthur Blank, wants us to draft a quarterback with the 4th pick overall. Now, to me, that's a problem. Okay. I have now seen reports that Arthur Blank is infatuated with quarterbacks, that he's infatuated with Kyle Pitts, that he's infatuated with, this, that, and the third, and that he also won't override what Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith want to do. Okay, so that's the key right there. Yes, he's going to sit down and have his meeting. And yes, he's going to tell these guys, well, this is what I'm seeing, or this is what I like, da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, they have, he has stated that he's not going to override what they want to do. He said that before they even hired him, when it was brought up about Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and what their future was. Right. They said it was going to be up to them. Okay. So yeah, he might be infatuated with it, but I think he's also finally realized, in a sense, how he's kind of been part of the problem. Like anytime that he's said, oh, this person's going to be a Falcon for life, we've touched on that plenty of times, that how that's impacted the negotiation table, so to speak. So he may finally be seeing and realizing that he needs to step back, and which is why Rich McKay is in the position that he is in, as something I've akin to calling him the owner's rep, something that we deal with in our business. That seems like that's what McKay is the owner's rep. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. But hey, look, the next time we go live, we gonna know. Like speculation is just about done. Yeah, we can speculate again all week on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? But the next time we go live, next Thursday, at 7:45 is when we will be going live, and we will be talking about this draft, and we will be live the entire draft, and we hope that y'all join us. I stated it earlier for the ones who have missed it. We will be giving a draft hat away on draft night on the first round. Hey. The rules seem complicated when I spoke them out. Maybe they'll be less complicated when I type them out. But all you have to do is email poundforpound@gmail.com or poundforpound ATL @gmail.com and give me my catchphrase, Jimmy's catchphrase, and the correct pick. And that's it. That's all you have to do.
That's it.
And whoever gets it right, the first one to get it right, wins. Okay?
Right. Hey, you Kyle Pitts. Y'all might as well get the other two right. I'm sorry.
So, and like I said,
hey, man,
you have to be willing to give me your address, or at least an address that I can send it to. But I'll be willing to ship you a draft hat. I already have it in my possession. So all y'all have to do is enter to win. And then the second night of the draft, we will have a pound for pound hat to give away. And I'll come up with a way to give that away then. So,
perfect.
But we're gonna put it out on Twitter.
Exactly. We're gonna blast promos all week from all four of us.
Right. We got y'all.
So if you don't follow us, it's a good excuse to follow us. I'm also going to put it out on the channel itself, so that you know multiple ways to find it. But gentlemen, we have done it. We have bumped up over an hour.
Wow.
An hour and 12 minutes.
Again.
I'm glad y'all bearing with me. I know y'all could tell I had a cold going on. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me on that. But
hey man, appreciate you coming in here, man. I love it.
Do what we gotta do, right? So
yes, sir.
Anyway, y'all can, as always, follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Jimmy?
You can catch me at Jimmy Obama, JIMMYOBAMA. I close my eyes because I can't remember how to spell it. Mike, go ahead with it, big dog.
And hey, boy Mike Dub. And you can follow your boy Mike Dub, MIK_DUB. I'm not on Twitter a lot, but when I am, I'm gonna give it all I got. Toby D takes people home.
Toby D 1991. Simple as that.
Simple as that. Hey, look, we had a great show tonight. I appreciate all y'all's questions, all y'all's comments, the folks who decided to tip. That is an amazing thing. We're also going to have another announcement next week during the draft, so I hope y'all join us at some point in time. But as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.